their own food, or heterotrophs, that means they depend on others for their nutrition, or saprotrophs, they depend on a host plant for their nutrition, they will be parasites. So there are different types of plants available, autotrophs, saprotrophs, heterotrophs. There, same way different types of animals are there, herbivores and carnivores, who feed on other animals, who feed on plants. Then all these animals and plants together form something called food chain. In this food chain, organisms which feed on plants will be eaten by the other animals, and all the food chains will be linked up with each other. So all the plants and animals which are present in the forest will automatically somehow depend on each other for their food purpose. So all these together make something called food chain, and all these food chains are linked up. Even if one organism gets disturbed, the whole food chain will be getting disturbed. So taking an example of a food chain, grass. Grass is a plant. Who eats the grass? Insects. Insects feed on the grass. Then who feeds on the insects? Frogs feed on small insects. Then snake eats the frogs. Then eagle, big bird, eats the snakes. Thereby, in all the food chains, the basic level, the primary consumer will always be plants. Remember, in all the food chains, the primary level, that is the base level, it will always be plants. The food chains always start with plants, and indirectly it ends up with animals or human beings also sometimes. So this is an example of a food chain where grass is on the primary level, insects eat the grass, frogs eat the insects, snake eats the frogs, and eagles eat the snake. So this is an example of food chain. There are many types of food chains in a forest, and all food chains are linked up with each other. Even if one organism gets disturbed in the food chain, then the total food chain will get disturbed. Then, when suppose if you are walking on a forest, take a dry dead leaf from the ground, pick a leaf which is dry and dead and decaying, and observe under a microscope. What all do you see in that leaf? You see mushroom growth. We eat mushrooms, right? They are edible mushrooms and non-edible mushrooms. So you see mushroom growth on the dead leaves. You see insects like microorganisms or naked eye visible insects. We see ants, we see beetles, and etc. So these insects constitute for the humus. What is humus? Humus is dead rotting matter. We have studied in other lessons. So humus is insects which feed on the dead plants. Here the insects which feed on the dead and decaying matter. Let it be a microscopic insect or a naked eye insect. Insects which feed on the dead plants and animals and convert them to dark colored substance is called humus. Humus is nothing but the insect which feeds on the dried and decayed matter. It converts the dried and decayed leaves into a dark colored substance called as humus. Humus is very nutrient rich. It makes the soil fertile always because it contains lot of microorganisms. So these insects are known as decomposers. So what are decomposers? Insects or microorganisms which convert the dead plants and animals into humus are called decomposers. So humus is nothing but the insects which feed on these dead plants and animals, convert them to a darkish colored substance called humus. Humus is nutrient rich, makes the soil fertile. And these insects which feed on these dead plants and animals are known as decomposers because they are decaying those dead matter. So what happens? Have you ever thought what happens if an animal dies in the forest? Will anybody go and cremate them like they cremate the human beings? No, right? So what happens? Suppose if a big animal dies, the crows, the vultures and eagles come and feed on this animal, and thereby they eat off all the animal, and what are the bony remains will be recycled in the soil with the help of microorganisms. So if an animal dies in the forest, other animals will feed on them, and the remnants of the animals, the remains of the animals will get mixed up in the soil. How? By decaying and decomposing with the help of microorganisms. So what happens when an animal dies in a forest? There will be recycling of nutrients. How? There will be some amount of, suppose a buffalo has died, there will be some amount of nutrients in that buffalo's body. So if a crow, eagle, vulture eats that animal, so the nutrients from that buffalo will get transferred to the crows, vultures and eagle's body. Thereby there will be recycling of nutrients. That means the nutrients have passed from the dead buffalo to the birds. And then we can conclude that nothing goes waste in a forest. Even if an animal or a plant dies, other persons eat that. Thereby we can say that nothing goes waste in a forest. Then there is always an oxygen carbon dioxide balance maintained in a forest. forest. How plants produce oxygen. Plants inhale carbon dioxide and give out oxygen in the photosynthetic activity in the daytime. Everybody knows that, right? So plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen in the daytime when there is photosynthetic activity. So this oxygen again animals use for respiration. Animals again like human beings need oxygen. They inhale oxygen, they exhale carbon dioxide. So the plants which exhaled oxygen, these animals inhale this oxygen. So it is linked up, right? Plants exhale oxygen, this oxygen is inhaled by animals. Again animals give out carbon dioxide during exhalation. Again this carbon dioxide is inhaled by plants. You understood the cycle, right? Plants exhale out oxygen. Animals take in this oxygen like human beings and give out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide which animals have given off is again taken by the plants. So this is like a cycle which is being continuously done. So this is known as oxygen carbon dioxide balance. So we can say that in forests there is always oxygen carbon dioxide balance is maintained. Not only acts as a home for plants and animals, but forest also acts as a home for different tribes. Tribe means tribal people who live in forests. We see tribal people ads in TV, newspapers, many documentaries we see in YouTube and all that. No? So tribal people are people who live in forests, and forest provides them everything: water, food, shelter and medicines. And these tribal people will have a great knowledge about the medicinal plants of the forest. So there are many types of tribes in the parts of India, and they live completely in the forest. Their food, shelter, water and medicine, everything forest will provide them. So that is how forest acts as a home for different tribes. Then when we walk in a forest, we see animal waste, animal droppings, animal excreta and footprints of some animals also. With the help of these animal waste or animal droppings and footprints, the officers of the forest can easily identify the presence of some animals. Only with the help of with the sight of the droppings and with the sight of the footprints, we can tell which animal that was which passed that way. So by the sight of the droppings and footprints, we can determine which animal that was. So with the help of droppings and footprints in the forest, we can identify the presence of some animals. That is how forest officers can easily identify. Then animal dropping heaps. Suppose cow, buffalo and all these have dropped much heaps of cow dung, right? So animal dropping heaps have seedlings and saplings, herbs, shrubs growing on them. Suppose if there is a heap of dung or any wild animal waste, it will be large in quantity. If over a period of few days, plants start germinating in them. How? Because animal dung has lots of microorganisms, microbes in them, which decay and decompose the animal dung. Thereby provides lots of nutrients to that animal dung, right? The presence of microbes provides lots of nutrients to the animal dung. That is how plants grow in the animal dung. Plants get nutrients from this animal dung and they grow into seedlings, saplings, herbs and shrubs. And decaying dung, so the dung will be decayed with the help of those microorganisms. That provides the nutrients for the plants to grow. Then forest provides a home. Forest provides a habitat for a variety of plants, herbivores and carnivores. So forest is a home for large varieties of plants and as well as animals. How do the animals help the forest? Animals help the forest to regenerate and grow in size. So animals help the forest in regenerating, reproducing and growing in size. And the decomposers. What are decomposers? Microscopic insects help in the supply of nutrients to the plants. So the decaying and decomposing processes is with the help of microorganisms or insects. So that help in supply of nutrients to the plants. So we can say that forest is a dynamic living entity. That means a living entity, live thing. It is a full of life and vitality. That means it provides energy. So forest is a dynamic living entity full of life and vitality. Then Have you ever thought what happens in a forest during rainfall? Suppose in our cities, if there is rainfall, excessive rainfall, then floods will occur. Whereas in forest, if there is excessive rainfall, there will be no floods. Why? During rainfall, raindrops do not hit the forest floor directly because there are lots of canopies above it. That means tall trees form the roof, tree tops form the roof of the forest, right? So they stop the rain over there. So if you stand under a forest, you do not directly get wet because the directly rains doesn't come on the forest floor. The rains passes through the branches, leaves, stems, and then they come down. So the canopy, that means the uppermost layer of the plants, intercept the flow of rain. That means stops the flow of the rain. Rainwater slowly drips. Drips means comes down. Rainwater slowly drips over the trees and wets the dead leaves also. So directly the rainwater doesn't come down. It comes via the twigs, leaves, branches, and then it wets the dead leaves all over the floor. But then water doesn't stagnate on this forest floor. But even though if there is excessive rainfall, there will be no stagnation of water. All the water will seep down into the ground and gets absorbed into the ground. Like if there is rainfall on the earth's surface where we live in the cities, there will be floods. Whereas in the forest, all the rainwater will be absorbed by the ground. Then the forest control the floods. Thereby we can say that forest control the floods. And forest, in addition to this, they maintain the flow of water in streams. Streams can be ponds, lakes, reservoirs, anything. They maintain the flow of the stream for the continuous supply of the water to us. We get supply of drinking water from the streams, rivers, ponds, right? So these forests, in addition to maintaining floods, they help in constant flow of the water and maintaining the steady supply of the water. So that is how forests act during the rainfall.